Just messing around. I love to just mess around, and right now I'm going to show you how you can just mess around too, because that last episode I did was just heavy on the music theory. This time I'm going to show you how to just kind of wing it and have a little bit of fun. Welcome to Dulcimerica. My name is Futch, and I'm the host of the show. Thank you very much for hanging out with me, for coming here and seeing what we've got. This lesson is going to be for everybody, whether you're a beginner or an advanced player. Just some things to kind of get you thinking about freeing yourself and playing all over this instrument. But before I go any further, I want to give a big old shout out to one of my patrons on Patreon. That is Brian Odine. Brian, thank you very, very much for your support, man. I really do appreciate you. You're helping to not only make this episode happen, but you're also helping to keep everything running behind the scenes. Software upgrades, they happen sometimes. They need to happen sometimes just to keep me on the same scale with everybody else out there making things happen. Sometimes I need little bits of equipment here and there, and you know, I do all right when I'm out there in the world, but sometimes it's hard out here for a pimp, a dulcimer pimp, if you know what I'm saying. So it's nice to be able to have a little pocket of extra funds coming in every single month from my patrons. And Brian, you have been helping to do this for a while, and I really thank you and appreciate you for doing that. So those of you not familiar with Patreon, it's basically a way for people like you to help support your favorite artists. And you can do that by pledging $5 or more per month to my campaign. And that money, as I mentioned, goes to a lot of upgrades, improvements, and just basically padding things out so I don't have to worry nearly so much about trying to scrape and run out there and do a bunch of gigs. I can really relax, create new music, new tablature, and new lesson plans for everybody out there. So basically, all you have to do is visit this little link down below. www.patreon.com/bingfutch. There's all kinds of free goodies there. Even if you're not a patron, you can just click on the open house link on the left side of the page once you get there. Also, make sure you check out all of the tip rewards, the reward incentives on the right side of the page. They include everything from t-shirts and stickers to me coming to your house and cooking for you a full big old meal for you and your family and friends. A lot of fun stuff there. Do check it out. And once again, Brian Odine, thank you very much for your support. I love my Patreon family. They have been an absolute blessing over the past few years. All right, let's talk about some messing around right now. There are lots of notes on this instrument. There are lots of chords. There are lots of rhythms that we can all throw at it. But sometimes it's nice just to sit around and pick, just to make some noise on it, because it's by listening that we absorb the music that we love. And it's by listening to what we do on this instrument that we love that helps us be able to pick that stuff out of thin air and also make some stuff up, which is always a lot of fun. So here are a few things I like to do. One is when you're in DAD tuning, like I am right now, you have got these three basic chord shapes. The L-shaped chord, and if I call these numbers out, they come from the bass string to the melody string. 3, 3, 5 would be an L-shaped chord. The slant chord, tic-tac-toe, 3 frets in a row, 2, 3, 4, and then the extended slant, tic-tac, skip a fret, toe, and those are 3 basic chord shapes. We also have the bar that we can use, which is all the way across 1 fret, all strings held down. When you're on the melody string, you don't always have to hold all of those strings down. You can just go and get some stuff on the middle string. And typically, if you're separated, like say your melody string, you're down here at the 4th fret, if you go down 2 frets, you're going to get a nice harmony no matter where you go. So without thinking too much about what you're playing, you can harmonize with what you're playing on the melody string by going on the middle string 2 frets down. Now we can invert that. We can flip it over to where we're doing what we're doing on the bass string and then go down 2 frets. Songs are all about movement. The melody is moving, the chords are moving underneath that. Sometimes the chords will stay steady while the melody goes all over the place. Sometimes the chords are moving rapidly and the melody slows down. As you're moving across the fretboard, listen for tones that seem like they want to hang out on that one string. For example, working on the bass string a lot can be really satisfying because it's a lower tone, and then you can get those middle string harmonies working. So without even thinking about it too much, that's really pretty stuff right there. And whatever you do with your right hand, don't think about it too much. Just kind of let yourself go. You know how you like sitting in traffic and your favorite song's on the radio? You got your hands on the steering wheel and you're bopping out the beat on the steering wheel like you're the drummer, right? Your brain isn't thinking things like that's a quarter note attached to a 16th note with an 8-note push. You're just beating because you know the song, and so you're like, now, combine all of that into one hand and just do whatever you feel over here. Maybe call up a beat that you like, or just strum. You don't have to do it all the same way all the time. You can change it up a little bit and make it really interesting. As you're moving up and down the fretboard, try and put some space in between your notes and hop around the fretboard, because if you just play all the notes one after the other, it'll sound a lot like a scale. Melodies that kind of dip and curve and wind about are a lot more interesting. So if you're going to do those notes in a row, that could be like a walk down or a walk up into other melodies and other chord possibilities. Let your spirit tell you which direction you want to go. Does the melody want to go up higher? Does it want to come down lower? Do you want to say the same thing twice? Or do you want to seem like you're about to say the same thing twice and then change how you say it towards the end, like a surprise? And when you feel like you're done saying with what you needed to say, then you stop playing and do something else. Change a string, go to different other places, and then try and throw some chords into the mix based on those 3 basic chord shapes and the bar. Most of the time you're going to find out that whatever you're doing on the melody string, wherever your melody is, it's going to connect with a lot of these chords. So all you have to do is lay in the other 2 strings. Or you can just sort of noodle on the melody middle and the bass string and take your time with it. that after a while, you'll come across something that'll really strike your fancy. You'll go, ooh, I'm rather liking the sound of that. So while you're playing, watch your fingers and see where they're at so that you can do it over again. If you find a phrase you play that sounds really cool, don't worry about playing in perfect time. Don't worry about playing with a metronome. Stop and go back and do it again if you really, really dig what's going on. Noodling is like musical serendipity. You just don't know what that next alleyway is going to take you to, or where that avenue is going to bring you eventually to arrive at. So the more you kind of mess around without any sort of agenda whatsoever, you'll discover all kinds of interesting things. And even though we talked about the basic chord shapes, the L, the slant, the extended slant, and the bar, there are lots of other chords that can be played on the mountain dulcimer. You know, from 7th chords to minor 7th chords. Just by putting your fingers in some other positions that you aren't used to playing chord-wise, you're going to come up with a chord of some sort. You might not always know what that chord is called, but you'll know it sounds really awesome and you'll want to do it over and over again. And this is a great way of expanding your musical vocabulary and also realizing what the dulcimer is capable of, which is a lot more than just the primary colors that we paint with on any ordinary given day. So play on that bass string, vary your rhythms. Don't be afraid of the second octave. Get on up there and have some fun. And wherever you're at, go back or go up to frets, and you're going to find real nice harmonies that you can play with. Little partials you can do where if you're on the melody string, come over on the middle string, and you'll notice that for a lot of the harmonies, from the melody or the bass string, I'm going towards the nut 2 frets to get these harmonies. There's some more harmony you can get by going up towards the bridge or down towards the bridge, depending on how you're looking at it. From the melody, just 1 fret. And those will give you some of the same types of voicings. A lot of those are just partial chords, and so sometimes if you're used to playing those, you can then fill in the bass by going, what else do I need on this chord? I wasn't planning on doing that. See, that's what happens. Anyway, thank you guys very much for tuning in. And always, 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 I hope that you'll play a little bit every single day, because the more time you put into it, and the more time you simply have fun with the mountain dulcimer, the more it's going to open itself up, and you guys will just have a blast together. And that's my true deep hope, that you will have a blast every single time you pick up this instrument. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll have more just down the pike. Until then, my friends, this is Big Futch saying, play on, baby, play on. Hey, look, I'm Butch Ross.